Oh yeah, I've seen the invite going for. Sounds like quite a nice sounding place. Well, in Vaucluse, sounds very posh.
I know, very posh.
Although I did. Are you doing it? I don't know if you're doing the staggered ones again, but the invite I got was a direct clash with the SBS up front as well. 17th of November, I think. So I told. I sent the girl who was on the RSVP. I sent her a heads up, but anyway, it's
right.
That's a manageable issue.
Yes, hopefully. Just come to ours.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on with Denise because she appeared, didn't she?
She did. She was there.
I
just checked my phone that she's not trying to. No.
Not trying to call us.
No. Well, we can have a chat.
Yeah, yes. So what about the future of TV?
Make our own conversations. Did you see anyone else?
It's just you, me and Denise, yeah?
I think so. Yes, I think so. I think she was trying to get another person, but I think had some difficulty. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is her now.
Can you see me?
Oh,
yes.
Oh, good.
You're there.
I have been here the whole time.
No.
Can you see me? So thank you very much for, anyway, technical issues. Blab is a new platform that is still in beta. Having said that, I shouldn't blame Blab. It could have well been me. But I do thank you so much for joining me today. For those that didn't see early on, my name's Denise Travell. I'm from MediaScope, and welcome to our second live lunchtime chat that we'll be doing every Friday morning. As I said before, thank you to the Adroll guys for my T-shirt this week. You can see it there. I wore my Twitter. I know, it's very switch, isn't it? I wore my Twitter T-shirt last week, and I got such good feedback for that I thought I'd make this a bit of a regular thing. You can see my props in the background. That's the Dennis Merchant book today. And hopefully my no washing basket today.
Well, that was sponsored by Omo, I assumed, last week, yeah?
Yeah. I wish, Chris, I wish. I have to say, Angela, I do very much like the props that you have in your background.
I know. I was about to say, had you noticed mine?
Yes.
They might look familiar to you.
They certainly look very familiar. My heart and my soul is literally on your wall.
I thought my office actually faces the other way, but I thought in light of today I would face it the other way so that we could get the background in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Chris, background of yours, some nice art. Thank you.
That's a MediaScope in hieroglyphics, actually, so I've had it translated into ancient Egyptian.
Launching next week through MediaScope's newsletter. Please subscribe if you don't already. Thank you. Thank you so much both for joining me. We're here today specifically to talk about the TV landscape, but also, of course, the news of our Media Week. Angela, you and I met actually for the first time at the MFAs last night.
We did, yes.
Congratulations. Nice. Very nice indeed. It was a good night. Congratulations on you. A few sore heads perhaps in the industry today. Not you and I, of course.
No, we're very sensible.
Congratulations on Media of the Year, or MCN.
Thank you. Yes, Media Owner of the Year.
Media Owner of the Year. Yes. The team must be pleased with that.
Very pleased. Yes, we have a staff address this afternoon, so that will be good news to take in.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. So let's start with the TV landscape. I highlighted the updated TV Mediascape in the newsletter this morning, so I thought this was a good opportunity to have a chat. Of course, we seem to have had breaking news overnight with the launch of Telstra TV, and would very much like to get both of your comments on that. But perhaps first, Chris, if we could start with you by just giving us your general sort of comments on the TV industry and its very fast evolving position in our broader landscape.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things in play. There is a business as usual element to TV. So, I mean, TV as it is today remains, the go-to channel for building fast awareness and cut through with an audience. There's no doubt about that, and that's why it continues to take the lion's share of advertising budgets. I mean, for the year as a whole, it's the industry is kind of clinging to growth overall, although that's been getting a bit weaker as the year's gone on. But you can see, kind of over the hill and charging down the hill of all these changes that are coming upon us, which, I mean, we're almost living in a couple of parallel worlds here, because how we're working with a lot of clients today, and where they're investing their dollars today hasn't necessarily changed so much with regards to TV, but I think it's only going to be a matter of time before we start to see potentially large chunks of TV budgets now go to an audience that is consuming video in other areas than traditional TV. I don't think anybody argues with that, and you can see that we're therefore evolving from kind of arguments or a land grabs over content to very much a distribution style kind of race. And I mean, there's no shortage of good content. In fact, that's half the problem. There's so much good content out there from just about any outlet that it really is therefore a race to get the key distribution points to market well. I think marketing of TV is going to become more important. And I think over the next 3 to 4 years, we're going to see this shift. So investment on video kind of will continue to grow, but what constitutes that video will start to change markedly.
And of course, yesterday we saw the IAB release their 2014-2015 advertising spend figures, and certainly their good news story did come through video with, I think, 100% year-on-year increase to around just under $1 billion. Oh, sorry, $500 million, I believe. So that really was, in the landscape with over half of, with 2.5 billion going to search, which is pretty well Google. Their good news story does certainly seem to be online video. Angela, your comments on the fast-moving landscape, and certainly what Chris touched on, which is, challenges ahead. But, you can certainly, it certainly is a landscape that I'm sure that you're very aware of as well, and you're doing, putting strategies in place to position yourself well in that.
Well, I think certainly from a television perspective, just in terms of traditional television, one of the things that MCN is focused on from a sort of technology and solution perspective, and also from a trading perspective, is to try and move the Australian market to more innovative ways of trading television, to try and make that an easier medium to buy. And certainly what we've seen, as you know, we implemented a new trading system back in April of 2014 called Landmark. And with that system, we launched a type of trading which we're calling dynamic scheduling. And we've seen the uptake of that in market to be very positive and had some terrific feedback and uptake in the market. So we've moved from a point of 0% in introducing a new trading currency to around trading 25% of our inventory today in terms of revenue terms in a dynamic way. And that is the first time that's been done, certainly in the Australian market. And then from there, we've launched the programmatic portal, as you know, with AOL soon after that. And that's also sort of just moving certainly the television landscape into a new way of trading as well. And we've had good uptake from that in market. But I think to Chris's point in terms of, the definition of television, I know there's been a lot of talk about what actually is television anymore, because traditionally television, of course, was the big screen. And now, people are consuming television, or what we call now video content, or any type of content, very differently. So I think it's about sort of saying, well, what now is television? And it's taking on many new sort of guises. Oh, it's good to see that my emails are popping up.
Good.
Good.
We can chat and talk.
Oh, we can just do multitasking.
Multitasking and work.
Yes, I mean, look, the landscape is changing, and of course, everyone's grappling for video content and trying to, chase those audiences, I guess, across the different platforms that they are, that they're viewing on. And that's certainly, of course, a challenge for us as well. And yes. Yeah, so I would agree with the comments.
Very good.
From that perspective as well, yeah.
Just perhaps going back a little bit with you, Angela, of course, the MCN Channel 10 sales teams merged earlier this year, perhaps give us an update on how that's going, how that's progressing. And indeed, with that changing trading practice that you mentioned through programmatic, and I think that was a world first, your arrangement with AOL.
It was. Yes, and we did do that bespokely. So it was born from a blank piece of paper. and built by our people here in conjunction with AOL across in San Francisco. So it was a great achievement, I think, by both teams to get something up and running. That was a real innovation, and I think you might have seen that we did win a BRW Innovation Award for that piece of work as well, it's good to have that recognition.
Absolutely.
Well.
We like the Australian market being innovative and
Yes.
trying new things and putting ourselves on the global map in that way.
Yeah.
Angela,
you want to talk about the 10? Yeah.
10 MCN merger and certainly also how you've evolved and shifted your sales team to that new trading practice.
So the people physically sort of moved across from 1st of September, but what we're doing now, they're still operating on their current infrastructure and system platforms, and so our role now is to integrate them onto the platforms that MCN have launched in market, and so we're busily working away to get that integration up and running. So the trading, I guess, at the moment sort of hasn't officially sort of changed over because they're still running on the platforms that they've utilised in the past, but we are now working to bring them onto the Landmark system, and that will happen in 2016, in the early half of 2016. And when we do that, then they will start to take on all of those initiatives that we've launched already in market for the MCN assets. So that'll be an exciting time for 10 and for MCN in market to do that. But the people are all combined. It's just now, combining infrastructure and systems and platforms and those sorts of things.
And they're in market selling cross-platform, a combination of TV, bespoke TV, programmatic. You've, of course, got quite a few digital properties. Yes. This took on the representation of the NNN International. So it does certainly seem to be a growing assets that you have to manage from a sales team point of view.
Yes, it is getting. It is getting quite large. But yes, they are out in market selling all of that across all of our assets and all of the 10 assets in market. Yes,
and no doubt your agency, Chris, MCN, have a good presence with something interesting to sell. How are you seeing anything about their new programmatic play?
We're welcoming it with open arms and of course, implementing it with some of our clients. For years, the way that TV or media in general has been bought and sold has been pretty balmy. So much of the richness of planning or insights or research has effectively been thrown out the window when we've had to dumb everything down to buy. So the ability of implementing, overlaying, robust and real-time data sources to help, add intelligence to the buy is something that's been crying out to be done for years. And it's just great that kind of technology is now caught up, because the amount of wastage in media buying in the past has been ridiculous. Huge billions, I'd say, each year has been wasted just because of the inability to target in line with the ability to understand and audiences and plan campaigns.
Exactly, and I think I sent both of you an article that I saw actually overnight that was talking about the RenTrack. Is it RenTrack Comscore merge? Yeah. Comscore merge, and how they were really about to take on Nielsen, who of course is the long incumbent in regard to TV measurement. Is that something that's on both of your radars? Is that something that you welcome, some more robust measurement in that space?
Oh, absolutely. It's just, you try explaining to clients, those that aren't close to media or marketing, just the process we go through to buy media in the traditional sense, and they can't. They're gobsmacked. If we're now going to a point of understanding our customers on such a granular level that we'll almost get to a point where a brand will have as many different audiences as there are customers, because everybody's subtly different. So being able to tailor your message and your targeting and the timing of delivery that talks to these minor differences is where we need to be, rather than, dumbing everything down to people 25, 54. And you've got these brands which are so different, have all been channeled down this same funnel. And I think we get to, I've got this utopian view that it really is a potential for for everybody to get something positive out of this, because from a media owner point of view, because there's been such broad assessment of inventory, I think a lot of airtime's been overpriced, but significantly a lot of airtime's been underpriced because value is not recognised by the metrics that the market's adopted. So there's potential for this programmatic approach for clients to get better returns, wanting to therefore invest more into TV and video generally, for pricing to actually become more accessible to brands that might not consider TV at the moment, and for media owners, what we're calling networks, and that will well change, to actually get better yield out of their airtime.
So it sounds like there's some work to do and some collaboration in a competitive market, in an increasingly competitive market. There's not only 7, 9 and 10, the traditional, there's MCN, now there's Presto, Stan, all of the companion channels. As we said when we started just last night, Telstra TV launched into the market. Now, while some of these don't take advertising revenue, they certainly do take the eyeballs. So a very complex, fast-moving landscape. Angela, interested in your comments based on what Chris said about that utopian view.
Yes, well, I think the concept of measurement across platform is something that not just the Australian market, but I think globally we need to resolve, because people are wanting to buy campaigns, across media, and there is no sort of common currency or any sort of, collaboration of those numbers across those platforms. And so everyone talks about sort of TV and digital combining, but there is really no sort of common industry currency that can measure that across those platforms. And certainly I think the Rentrack Comscore merger is an interesting one. I think that they're sort of probably coming more from a digital perspective than probably from a traditional television background, in terms of the research that Nielsen obviously is panel-based and, is the incumbent. And I think it's always difficult to move the incumbent, but I think Nielsen's challenge will be trying to create a robust measurement in digital that can combine with its traditional sort of TV base. And I think the Rentrack and Comscore challenge will be to try and make a TV measurement robust. And so which one will get there first, I don't know. But certainly it is challenging. From our perspective, in certainly going just back to our programmatic platform, we do have our multi-view panel, which, Chris, I'm sure you're aware of in market, which is in conjunction with Quantium, our data partner, and we are looking to combine what we're calling multi-view segments across both television and digital in a common sort of metric in that platform, because we're looking to integrate our digital assets into the AOL platform and put our inventory, all of our video inventory, in the one platform, and that will be available very soon. And in doing that with the multi-view segments, we will have some of that cross-targeting capability and measurement available in that portal, which I think is very exciting, not just for this market, but also, from a global perspective, because I'm not sure that there really are many companies doing that, certainly the combination of, but also in a programmatic sense. So we're very excited about bringing that to market as well.
How does that sound to you, Chris, just in terms of a usability or in terms of the ease of buying and trading media? Is that sort of heading toward the direction that you're after, so it's not such a cumbersome process to plan and buy TV?
Oh, I'm fully on board. I mean, having worked at Quantum for 5 years, I don't think you'll find any disagreement with me for where it's going. But also, that's afforded me a much longer term view of where we're going generally. I mean, it's this great convergence of media exposure with customer data, with audience understanding. So yeah, I mean, what's going to be interesting is this. I think the word collaboration was mentioned before, but this will. There's so many people looking to sell. There's so many people looking to buy, and the old ways of just the trading is gonna. We're going to need to look beyond kind of micro trading desks and exchanges from one particular station or one particular media group, because I don't think that will be manageable. What's going to be interesting for me is how this is opened up. Comparisons are often made with stock exchanges and stuff, but if we want to make the most of this is where we're kind of heading, and that's got a myriad of complexities that I'm not clever enough to understand. But how you get around the privacy, how you get through the retention of control for individual players, how do you get to measurement and understanding, and with all of that, how you avoid fraud and clients getting ripped off. So the whole bundle of stuff. I mean, the concept is great, but I think this is going to really test how some organisations work with one another, how they structure themselves, the type of people they recruit, not just from the technical skills, but I think there's going to be a real premium on people who can work effectively in teams. And I know that's a different stream of conversation, but there's a real marriage here of technical understanding and vision with the working mindset of individuals who will have to work in a very different way.
And I've heard that sort of person in our industry referred to as a unicorn. And they're referred to as a unicorn because they don't exist. A unicorn who has that technical knowledge that, is obviously required now in our industry, but also that experience and those relationships and that sort of thing that, I have. I have that, but I don't have the technical knowledge or as much. Excellent. Look, thank you. Before we move on to just having a chat about our Media Week, and I'd certainly like to give a bit of an overview of some of the things I've done this week and hear about your week as well. If I can just get an idea from both of you, from both an MCN and a client point of view, Chris, of what in TV is working, what's giving the results, what's shifting the dial in terms of sales, and what feedback are you getting from market? Is it a combination of perhaps some more advertorial news-type placements combined with, the 30-second spot that we all know and love? What is actually working for you? Sponsorship. Chris, I think that you've got the Scenic account that we've spoken about, and you often use sponsorship and so on. If you can just give me a sense of what's working.
Well, the way that we approach TV has kind of evolved quite a lot in the recent past, to the point now that we are, with Google's zero moment of truth coming into play, and so customer response being observed more often than not as an online action, and the fact that these things are never more than an arm's length away from us, we now buy TV to maximise web impact.
I feel I have to.
So,
yeah, we do. You're absolutely right. We're just proving your point.
So we buy TV that. And we basically, from a software-based approach, like to understand which of our TV investments actually drive the largest online reaction. And what we find there is that this brings out the difference that there is in every single brand out there. So we're not again limited by traditional metrics of reach and frequency from predetermined broad demographic. We can actually start to optimize TV laydown based on what we observe happening online in almost real time. So from that, we get an understanding of what's working for a particular brand down to a very granular level. I mean, we see if 30-second ads work versus 15s, but it's also time of day of week. For one of our clients, we saw the best response coming from 10-second billboards. So there's no real one answer to that, but that's no problem. We now have the ability to understand what is the right answer on a client-by-client basis. Yes. And to me, this theme of TV and online becoming completely interlinked, and a greater understanding of how TV activity and search marketing are linked, is becoming a kind of a common denominator of issues that we're talking about with all of our clients.
Yep, excellent. That's really good. Angela, from a sell point of view, what are you seeing that's really working for your sales guys? What's working for the clients that you're dealing with?
Well, I think from MCN's perspective, I mean, we have a great set of assets across platform that allows our clients to be able to integrate across, multiple, I'll call them assets or platforms. So I think, to Chris's point, using TV and then seeing how that works online and being able to sort of link things together in terms of whether that's through full attribution or whether it's through a modelling of some version of that, I think is quite powerful for clients. But I think, we also have some activations which have been very successful, which is things like outdoor activations or integrations, which are working well for clients. Sponsorships are still, being driven in market as well. But I think the big feedback, I think, for MCN, as I spoke before, is just on this, the trading model and the operational burdens that is reducing for people in market has had very positive feedback for us. And I think we'll continue to have great uptake in market so that it allows people to actually then focus their time on more innovation and more creative executions and more sort of, specific program integrations and the exciting things that you can do by taking away the time that we're spending on sort of trading the spots and dots or the bulk of that inventory. Because in Australia, we were trading that, on a spot-by-spot basis, and unfortunately that takes people a lot of time. And so if you can free up that time and, trade your CPM component very efficiently, it gives people more time to work on the things that are exciting and innovative and, perhaps driving brands forward. So I think that's been good feedback for us in market, that certainly what we've launched has made a significant difference to people's operational burden of trading, which is great because we needed that in this market probably 10 years ago.
Probably 10 years ago. Yeah. And it does seem that, the market is striving for efficiency on so many levels, not just in the trading process, but many other levels as well. And I think sometimes we also forget that we're still at such an early part of this journey. We seem to want to rush it. But, it's great to be on the journey, that's for sure. Thank you for covering the TV, and I'll say to everyone that the TV MediaScope was updated in MediaScope's newsletter this morning, and PDFs are, of course, available. There's my ad. Hello, David Borean, who's just joined us. DB's just started as Managing Director at Brand New Media, and I think he'll be joining me next week to talk about content marketing. Let's move on to our Media Week. As I said, Angela and I were at the MFA Awards last night. Congratulations to MCN for Media Owner of the Year. Henry Tager was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Chris, you weren't there, and you actually said to me earlier this week that Nunn Media has a no awards policy, and I was able to say that, so thank you. We are a very awarded industry, to say the least. But the MFA's, of course, being one of the larger ones. It was a good night. Everyone really seemed to be having a good time. Chris, would you like to make any comments on Nunn Media's stand in the market?
Yeah, well, it's. I think it's just the view we took. I mean, for one, I can understand the role awards plays for a lot of businesses. I mean, it was good to see Mindshare, where I used to work, doing very well last night, and UM had a good night as well. Yeah, so they did very well. I mean, I used to run the MFA award program, so it's not that awards I'm just anti. But when we set up Nunn Media, we said, right, okay, what's the benefit to us as a business, as an independent business? And there's 4 reasons you enter awards. So I imagine it's either for existing or potential clients and existing or potential staff. So I've spent some time speaking to on the client side. I said, and this is clients that we will target. I'm not talking about the big multinationals. We go over to small to mid-sized clients. And when I spoke to them, I said, is us winning awards important to you? And the feedback was unequivocal. It was no, it's not important. So they actually said, a couple of them said, look, if it makes you feel happy, then go for it. But it's not going to change. It's not part of the appraisal process for us. So that was important to hear. It was also important to speak to our staff and ask them, is entering awards important for you? And our staff, one thing about Nunn Media is we're probably a few more grey hairs than your average agency. So we've got just over 18 years experience on average amongst the team here. So when I spoke to them, and their feedback was that winning on a personal level, they kind of done that. And so it wasn't important. So we took a step back and said, right, where we are now, if the clients aren't saying it's not important to them and the staff aren't saying it's not important to them, why spend a load of time and effort for us? Now that's our position at the moment. Will it change in the future? I don't think so, but you constantly review these things because the reason you enter awards is for the benefit it brings back to the business. We've taken the view there's no benefit for us, but we will constantly review that. And that's not to diss anybody. Like I say, well done to UM and Mindshare, and of course, well done to MCN for getting great recognition. So, but that's where we stand. We won't be entering awards anytime soon.
Angela, the benefits of awards for MCN. You've said you're presenting it to the staff this afternoon.
Well, I think for us, winning awards, I think for any company, I think with large teams, I think just reinforces that things are about team effort and about, again, just collaboration of people coming together to do great work. So I always think it has a positive impact for staff within an organisation. And I think the timing of that award for us with onboarding of 10, 6 weeks ago, will have a great impact for our staff to say that, we've won Media Owner of the Year, and bringing, two companies together in a venture. I think winning that award will have a very just positive feedback of us. Oh, my lights have gone out. I must have been moving enough. They're on automatic. So hopefully you can still see me. I think for morale and for, having people coming together, I think it's terrific. Look,
it was certainly a very good night, and as I said, the MFA is one of those original awards on our annual calendar. Sorry, I did digress there a little bit. I was going to say I went to the MFAs. I also went to the Ad Tech Meetup on Wednesday night, which is a free event to attend with the ad and digital tech community. About 120 people, their largest turnout yet. I am the oldest in the room by far when I go, to say the least. But, it's a great group of people. They're obviously very enthusiastic about a really fast-moving part of our market, and a really good initiative by a couple of guys. Next week, I'm at the Unlimited CEO announcement on Tuesday morning. I actually met him last night, a very nice guy. Told me he actually found the job through MediaScope's newsletter, which I couldn't quite believe. That was good to know that it's being read. I'm also attending the Publish conference on Wednesday, which I'm looking forward to. So, of course, a lot of magazine publishers going through their own issues and challenges. It's going to be an interesting day to have a chat about the landscape. I think native advertising will be one of the big things being spoken about, and of course we'll be covering that next week in the live chat. Chris, anything that sort of springs to your mind about the week we've just had or the week ahead for you?
I think just a headline for me was the SMI figures, and just showed how there's so many different forces at play at the moment that's been evidenced in how businesses are doing. It's really is a hard trading market out there, and there's a lot of dynamics at play. There's so much supply in the market that I think it's really an interesting time to be here. But it's I'd say it takes a brave man to predict where we're going to be in 6 or 12 months. Absolutely,
it's very fast moving. Angela, anything particular for your week? Of course, last night, which we've spoken about, but anything else on your radar for the week, and what about your week ahead?
I think the Telstra announcement of the Telstra TV was a big announcement this week, and I think there'll be a lot of commentary around that in the coming weeks about that and the Foxtel offering, and there's already been some commentary around it. There was some interesting articles, I think, about Netflix this week, and I found it interesting to read that. Well, I think interesting to read that they were seeking some further sort of funding for content, because I think they tend to focus a lot on that they're expanding the market and they're doing this and they're doing that, and then sort of right at the bottom it was sort of, the driver still is that we still need good content on some of those platforms. So I think that, I think that's a constant sort of stream of information going forward on those platforms, and we see that a lot. I think one of the other themes that's coming through a lot is ad blocking, and there's been a lot of commentary in the past couple of weeks about that, and some of it probably not too factual as well about what people can do about it. And I think with the launch of Apple and the ad blocking. I think that's been quite controversial in the last couple of weeks. So I think that, look, honestly, I can't keep up with all the media at the moment. There's just so many articles on so many things that's happening at such a pace. I don't remember it ever being quite so frantic as it is, and I don't know if it's just me getting older or whether it's just that there's a lot going on. But it seems as though, you know, every day there's articles about everything, and it's very diverse in terms of the range of topics. So, you know, we could probably talk forever about lots and lots of things, but there's lots happening in the market at the moment. Yeah, plenty.
It certainly is. I mean, it does seem like a day-to-day proposition, and, you know, keeping up is one of the biggest challenges that I certainly read about when I'm speaking to people in market or through trade commentary. I think we've done okay for the second live chat. Is there anything else that anyone would like to add? And thank you, everyone, also for joining us. David Borean, Pam O'Connor's with us, Dana Dobby, and, of course, I was also told during the week we got a very large viewer that I put up on the MediaScope site, so that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for your support. As I said, I think we did okay. I think we've covered some good topics. Hopefully I didn't say too often this time. It's absolutely cringeworthy watching yourself back on these sort of things. But I will get better at it, I promise. And as I said, no washing basket behind me today, which is good. So thank you both very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I think to log off, you just press the arrow in the... Oh, first of all, should we try and do a high five to each other?
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
And down and up a bit. That might be the best. Oh. It's a nice platform, isn't it? You've got that Brady Bunch kind of thing.
Yeah, hello.
I'll be able to podcast this and also upload it to YouTube, so it will be available. Keep an eye on MediaScope for the time for next Friday's live chat, and of course you can do that through MediaScope's newsletter as well. Thank you so much, Chris Walton from Nunn Media, for joining us, and also Angela Goodsir from MCN. Congratulations again to the MCN and the MCN team for their win last night at the MFAs. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks, Denise. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you. Bye. Thank you.